Hello YouTube. Before I get into the video, because I know I will forget otherwise, I have created a GoFundMe page for my friend Matt. I don't know if you guys remember, this is actually really belated, but he lives in Lismore, Australia, and they had like one of the worst floods in over a century, and everybody in that town really lost everything. And also, my friend Matt, his whole house was destroyed, and yeah, he just lost like all of his belongings and everything. So I created a little GoFundMe if you guys are willing to donate a little bit there, and then I can send that to him to help him out a little bit. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to do a video talking about parents versus teachers and what we're seeing a lot in the news and in social media lately, where a lot of parents are becoming cognizant of the things that go on in the classroom, especially if you do watch more right-leaning media sources, then you will have probably seen a lot of people complaining about things like critical race theory being taught in school, also a lot about like gender norms or how many genders there are, or telling little kids already about that they could potentially be a boy or a girl if that's what they chose, even though that's not what their born gender is, or that they might be trans, or all these kind of things. um a lot of TikTok videos have gone viral about teachers who have like the gay flag in their room or the Black Lives Matter flag in their room, and they've made classrooms really political, or even just a lot of teachers coming out to their students and saying that these are the pronouns of my choice. I go by they, them, or I go by Jim, or whatever. And it's caused a lot of frictions right now. And actually, I think this is probably going to be the thing that might be the point that's really going to turn a lot of people away from the left. I had other things that turned me away from the left. But I think the big mass migration we're seeing now from people going from the left to the right is when you, I don't want to say attack, but when you target children. A lot of people just don't like that. They don't agree with it, as they shouldn't. It's a very sensitive topic to most people. And it's a very strange thing we're seeing now, where with the left, there's more and more push to kind of be more accepting of people who are pedophiles, in terms of like saying it's a minor attracted person. And like there's just a lot of things going on that I think a lot of parents have legitimate reason and concern to look at school systems and academic systems and kind of go, this isn't working, this isn't right, we need to take a more active role, and we need to kind of start stepping in. However, as you guys know, or I don't know, maybe you guys don't know, I have been working as a teacher for the past going on 9 years now. And of that time, probably 2/3 of it I've been working with small children. Currently now here in Ecuador, I teach first, second, and third grade. And I have to say, this is one topic where I'm feeling very, very torn. You guys know that I have very strong opinions in general. Most of my videos, I'm just like, this is my opinion. I have very strong opinion. And here I have to say I have very, very mixed feelings. And with a lot of the parents now and a lot of the right-leaning pundits saying things like, parents have the right to know what's going on in the classroom. Parents should have the right to dictate what their children learn. Parents, and I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit torn on this topic, because I do think that teachers do have to have a certain background knowledge in pedagogik, is what it's called in German. I don't know, is that the same word in English? And training, and they go through, it's not like you just kind of pop up and all of a sudden you're a teacher. There is a lot of scholastic things that you go into and you have to learn, and you have to learn how to actually teach the subjects and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like you probably, as a lay person, not being part of that career, you wouldn't, as a non-doctor, tell your doctor, no, I want you to cut my leg open in a different way, not the way that you learned to do it in med school. You wouldn't tell your lawyer, no, we're not going to use this as our backing for my case. We're going to use this other thing, even though I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So to some degree, I do have to say, I do think that teachers, I'm not really liking how the right is right now saying how teachers are just these random people and parents should make the decision about everything and how things are taught and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, teachers also are the experts in this area. And as such, we need to also kind of get back to a place where parents respect and trust teachers. Now, this is where I'm saying I have very mixed feelings. We are seeing in a lot of classrooms that there is some crazy stuff going on that I personally can't relate to at all. I am a gay man, but in a million years, not once in the almost 9 years I've been teaching now, has it ever crossed my mind to put up a gay flag in my classroom, to talk about children about their gender, being gay or straight or being trans or being a boy or not being a girl, or these are boy things, these are girl things. That has never crossed my mind. And honestly, I completely agree with the parents when they say that this is wrong. And it's honestly, to me, I actually think it's incredibly creepy. I think it's really creepy. I mean, my kids are 6, 7, and 8 years old. Like the fact that an adult would in any way, shape, or form think about talking to them about sexuality, I completely agree with parents when they're like, this is not right. And yeah, I agree. That is, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it would never cross my mind to do it. That would feel creepy. Like, to me, it would feel really creepy and pervy to even, if that even crossed my mind with a bunch of 6-year-olds, to be like, so today we're going to talk about your guys' wee-wees and woo-hoos, and, what does it mean? And do you guys feel like you are a boy or a girl? Like, like that. It's so creepy. And so when these TikTok videos of like these narcissistic teachers, even like that I think is actually the number one thing to me, what makes a good teacher, is to realize you are there for the students. They are not there for you. They are not there for me to have my personal therapy. I don't go into any classroom. It doesn't matter if I'm teaching kids or adults. I've never gone into the classroom and been like, so I don't even do that thing that a lot of teachers do on the first day where they're like, so I'm Mr. Cunningham and I have a degree in psychology and I've been teaching for 17 years and I like to read and do sports and, I'm a gym and blah, 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 blah. And please use the correct pronouns for me. Like, even that kind of stuff I don't do. If my students have a personal question about like, where are you from, how old are you, like random questions that people would like maybe like to ask, or even kids sometimes ask or something like that, I'll address it. But like, even that like first day of school where I'm just gonna be like, now it's all about me and I'm just gonna tell you everything about me and how amazing I am and blah blah blah. It's like, no, for me, being a teacher, the biggest part of it is actually being somebody who listens. As a teacher, that is probably the most important skill. The one skill that they don't teach you in any kind of teacher program that you're going to get is kind of like, shut up and listen to your students. I've had students tell me all kinds of stuff, plenty of things. Not my little kids, obviously, but like my adult students telling me things I don't even want to know. I'm just kind of like, well, this is kind of personal, but okay. Like, you actually act kind of as a pseudo therapist to a lot of your students. So yeah, I understand where the right is coming from, but I also have to say I also understand the frustrations of teachers because this is even before I started teaching, but I would say probably in the last 30, 40, 50 years or something, the teacher has gone from a respectable authority figure to kind of being this like joke, right? The children don't respect teachers, and parents don't respect teachers. And I actually have to say, this is just coming from my own personal experience. I have to tell you guys, parents don't support teachers at all. And I think this is the main reason why I have to say I have really mixed feelings on what is going on right now. Because if parents are going to have even less trust in the teachers than they already do, I think it's going to make it almost impossible for those teachers who actually are trying to do a good job for us to be as efficient and good at our job as we can be. And this is something where I'm really going to call out parents. One of the biggest problems we actually have right now in schools is that parents don't parent. Full stop. Parents do not parent anymore. Now, part of that is because of the fact that we now live in a society where parents have lost all of their tools to parent. You're not allowed to spank because it's abuse. You're not allowed to yell at kids because that's abuse. You're not allowed to tell your boy that he's a boy because that's abuse. You're not allowed to take away their toys because that's abuse. I mean, you're basically not allowed to do anything as a parent because otherwise it's abuse. So what you now end up having is you have this huge group of children, you see so many videos of mothers, especially now in the part of the feminist movement, you see so many women saying things like being a mother should be paid because being a mother is a job and it's really difficult, and it is difficult. So imagine if you are a mother or a father and you just have 1 or 2 kids at home. Now you have 20 kids in your classroom and none of them have been parented correctly. None of them have been told anything about consequences. None of them have been taught how to have respect for their teacher. Probably once they go home, the parents say how dumb the teacher is and how stupid the teacher is, and the teacher's probably some nasty pedophile and loser and don't get near them and don't trust anything they say. And then you have 20 of these kids sitting in the classroom and they're running around and you as a teacher can't do anything because everything is also, my school in Azerbaijan, I got called into the principal's office because I had the students write lines. So basically just write 50 times we need to pay attention to class. And I was told by the principal, you're not allowed to have them write lines. And I'm like, okay, I can't send them out of the classroom. I obviously can't discipline them in any way physical, which I wouldn't do anyway. I wouldn't feel comfortable with it. I'm not allowed to tell them that they have a quiet time. I'm not allowed to have them write lines. I'm not allowed to do anything. And the parents aren't going to do anything either. I have one kid in my school here. I've written the parents 5 times about his behavior. And every email, they're like, yeah, we'll talk to him. And this kid's behavior is really bad. He has bruised other kids. He goes up to other kids and rips their projects up in the middle of class. He doesn't listen at all. I'll be like, I don't want to say his name. You guys don't know, but still, I'm like, hey, sit down, be quiet. No, I don't have to listen to you. At this point, what am I supposed to do? So I kind of have I just have really mixed feelings on this topic because I think if parents would actually support and back teachers, and if parents would do their actual job, which is to parent, your job as a parent is not to be a friend. And I think the problem is too many parents now are taking the easy road and they're just I want to be a friend with my kid. No, that is not your job. When you bring a kid into the world, your job is to make sure that kid can function independently in society at some point in time when they're an adult. And with that comes learning behavioral norms and things that are acceptable in society and in certain settings. So if you just let your kid go wild, and the only thing you ever do is kind of well, if you behave, I'll buy you another Nintendo. And then they send them to school. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. The kids, I really think, just over the 9 years I've been teaching, I do really think we are becoming a dumber society. And a lot of it, this is where I'm just going to push back on parents now. A lot of it comes from the parents because so much of the classroom time, my classroom time with my kids here is 45 minutes. If I have 25 minutes of actually teaching them anything, that is a good day. That is a good class because the entirety of the class is spent with No, sit down. No, you can't rip the other kids. Stop punching that little girl. Stop. No, you can't pee in the middle of the classroom. No, leave your pants on. No, like, don't run around. No, don't rip up other people's things. No, don't throw the pen across the classroom. I mean, that's almost the entirety of the class now. And then every time you talk to the parents, yeah. So it's because my child is special. My child is special. It suffers from AD&D and RPFF and CC&Q and LLB and all kinds of stuff. And you actually just have to give my kid a little bit more time than the other kids because, my kid is so special and they're all gifted. All of them are gifted. And I'm like, really? Because they're all getting D's. Like, I'm not sure how you're seeing that they're gifted. So I just feel like there's more going on here with the parent-teacher dynamic, and I don't think it's going to get fixed by making parents even more untrustworthy of teachers, of backstabbing teachers even more, and of expecting teachers to do their job and our job at the same time. My job is not to parent your kids. My job is not to teach your kids how to behave and how to act and not to punch other kids and not to kick other kids and not to rip up things or to write on the desk or spit gum across the classroom. That is not my job. That is your job as the parent. My job is to teach them the subject that I was hired for. And now here's where I agree with the parents. If you find out that there is a teacher that is supposed to be teaching, I don't know, geography, and then they're talking about gender and trans issues or telling their kids that they're gay and they have to use, yes, then you have a legitimate reason to go into school and be like, look, this is some effed up stuff and I don't want my kid to be part of that. Yes. But I'm just saying, like, teachers need your support. We need the parents' support so that we actually can do our job. I work as a math teacher, predominantly. I've worked as an English and science teachers and stuff as well, but predominantly I've worked as a math teacher. And like I said, if the vast majority of my class, I can't even get to my subject because I'm just running around trying to get the kids to be in control because you're not doing your job, that's also something that needs to be addressed. I don't know. This is a very difficult topic for me, and the reason I'm making this video is because I would kind of like to have your guys' feedback. Obviously, I think that these topics like CRT and gender studies and all this kind of stuff, they're not appropriate. And I personally, even as a gay person, I don't think it's appropriate to hang a gay flag in your classroom. That's not appropriate ever. Not even in college. It doesn't matter. That's not appropriate. Like that is something private. That is something private to who I am as a person. My kids, my students, even if I'm teaching adults, they don't need to know whether I'm gay or straight or who I'm dating, if I'm single, if I'm married. Like it doesn't belong in the classroom. Period. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just have such mixed feelings on it because I do have to say I do get very frustrated at how unsupportive parents are with teachers and how quick they are to blame the teacher for everything and how blindly they believe their children. That is something else where I'm just always like shocked. Like when I get if I get an email from a parent, here's a story. This is probably like a month and a half ago. Because we are doing this thing where if a kid has corona, they have to stay at home. So we have a computer in the classroom, and we're doing this thing where we have to teach the kids in the classroom and some of the kids online, which is a complete disaster anyway because it doesn't work. Because obviously the moment you focus on the kids in the classroom, the kids that are at home, they get bored and their minds start drifting off. And if you focus on the people on the computer, then the kids in the classroom get bored and start drifting off. It's just a dumb system. It doesn't work. So I was in class and I was actually talking to a mother who stepped into the frame of her child who was at home because that child had corona. And she started talking to me and having some questions. And in the time that I was focusing on her, this boy and this girl in the class, they started fighting. And the girl, I guess, kicked the boy between the legs. So when I finally like turned around, became cognizant, I turned around, the boy was sitting there and he was crying. And I went up and I was like, okay, what happened? What's going on? All this kind of stuff. And he was like, oh, the girl, she kicked me between the legs and blah, blah, blah. And I went to the girl and I was like, did you do it on purpose? And she said she didn't. They were just kind of like play fighting and it happened. So this girl is an angel. Okay? She does everything she's asked to. She doesn't scream. She doesn't do any kind of things. And that boy is the number one problem in that class. And I know for a fact that that boy goes and picks on everybody else in that class. Not just that girl, but everybody. So even though I didn't see it, I know if I was asked like to just take, like, I'm sorry, I would take the girl's side right away. I know for a fact that she didn't do that on purpose. And I know for a fact that he was the one who initiated the problem. Because it's that way every time. I've seen it. I know it. That boy is a problem. Anyway, I kind of talked to the kids. I thought it was just like over. He cried for another minute. Then it was done. They went out, and I thought life would go on. Well, later that day, I get an email from the mother of the boy, and she was just like, I can't believe that happened in your class, and that girl needs to be kicked out of the school. She is violent, and she went out of her way, and she went and hurt him, and she did it on purpose. And I wrote back, and I was kind of like, in my most diplomatic way, I try to be like, I talked with these kids. I don't think she did it on purpose. I think they were play fighting, and it got a little rowdy. And in my most diplomatic way, I kind of try to let her know that her son is no angel. And anyway, the correspondence went back and forth forever, but it was just amazing. Like, she just took her son's word. She was just like, no, my son is an angel. He's the smartest kid in the class. He's perfection incarnate. He would never do anything to harm anyone. He is the most special and nicest thing that's ever happened ever. And I just was like, this again, like what I'm saying, why I think parents have completely made the job of the teachers so much more difficult and so much more, it's almost impossible to really do your job as well as you potentially could, because the parents don't back you at all. The parents don't, in this day and age, the parents don't back you at all. They don't believe you whatsoever. They stab you in the back every chance they get. I mean, like, it's no wonder that so many teachers around the world are now kind of like, well, screw this. I'm not going to put any effort into teaching these kids, and I'm not going to put any effort into doing anything that I don't want to do, and I'm just going to do what I want to do in the classrooms because parents have also just given up on us. And I think it's really sad that parents, like, why would I as an adult feel the need to tell somebody your son's behavior is very poor and he is the one who initiates these fights? Like, why? Why would I do that? The fact that the mother was just kind of like, no, you're lying. My son is an angel. I'm like, I have nothing to gain out of saying what really happens in the classroom, right? Like, so I don't know. And I don't know if this video is it's not really coming to a point, but I'm just saying that this is one situation where I'm a little bit unsure about what the right is doing and how the right is approaching this, and this just continuous push to just villainize teachers and to point out how dumb we are and how lazy we are and how we're unwilling to do anything right and not give us any support and, just tarnish our reputation with our own students. Because it's like, if you tarnish our reputation, the students don't respect you. It's almost impossible to teach somebody something if they already don't like you and don't respect you. And if your parents raise you to, parents send you to school like, your kid is an idiot, I mean, your teacher is an idiot, your teacher is most likely some kind of crazy pedophile, don't let them get near you, don't let them talk to you, they don't know what they're talking about, don't, report back on them on everything they do. I don't know, I kind of feel like you need to, the parents can't just push all the responsibility on the teachers. And they can't just villainize them all and just make, I think I think they've really forgotten. Again, like I can't say any other way, but if you have one or two kids at home and you know how exhausting that is, just take a moment and just kind of think about how difficult a teacher's job actually is. If you are in a classroom with 20 kids that are all like 6 or 7, and not all of them are not raised properly, but it only takes one bad apple. If in every class I have at this school, for instance, I have maybe 2 or 3 kids that are just where you can just tell there's just no parenting going on whatsoever in the house. And if I just even have to run after those 2 or 3 kids, the whole classroom, those kids that actually have parents that do the job correctly, they still suffer because I can't give them all the focus I want because I have to constantly turn around and be like, what's that kid doing? Does he have scissors in his hand? Is he hitting somebody else? What is, you know what I mean? Like, so if you have 2 or 3 kids at home, imagine what it must be like spending 8 hours a day with like 20 kids and trying to control them. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm not jiving with what's going on and the way the right is villainizing teachers, even though I agree that these topics don't belong in the school. And I personally would never ever think to talk about these things with my kids. I still think what we really need is we need to go back to a place where teachers are respected by the students and by parents, where they are supported by the parents, where they are believed by the parents, where there is trust from the parents, and where there is acknowledgement from the parents that this is actually a really difficult job. And I think maybe if we would go back to a time like that, that would actually kind of help the really bad situation we're in now more so than creating more and more distrust and more dislike towards teachers. Yeah, so that's it. I would love to know what you guys think. How do you feel? How was it when you were in school? Did you think of your teacher as somebody you can trust and relate to? And if you had like a close, it's so weird. Like everything sounds so creepy nowadays because, yeah, even that I think is something that shows about what a sick society we live in. Because honestly, I think like I remember when I was a kid, up until probably like 4th grade, for me, it didn't seem weird to hug my teacher or, that's probably the most of it. Like maybe hug my teacher, maybe hold hands with my teacher when you're in kindergarten or 1st grade, And actually here in this school, in most of the countries I've lived in the world, where I think the teacher-parent relationship is still a little bit more normal than it is in the Western world, the kids do come up and they do like hold your hand when you walk them to the lunchroom, or there's a couple of kids that might give you a quick hug or something like that, or maybe like I'll pat them on the head. And I actually have to say, I think that is, at the end of the day, a healthier way for kids to feel about adults that they spend 8 or 9 hours a day with 5 days a week. I mean, kids should feel safe they should feel safe with their teacher. They should feel they could trust their teacher. They should feel that they can respect their teacher. Considering how much time they spend with them, I think it's just not doing your child a service telling them the teacher is stupid, the teacher is probably a pervert, don't trust the teacher of anything. This is going to be the number one adult they're going to spend the most time with outside of you for their entire childhood. And then if you already set them up to feel distrustful and like they're stupid and irrelevant, I feel like that really already kind of puts them into a mental space for later in life and how to trust other people and how to respect other people. I don't know. But yeah, let me know how you feel about the teacher-parent situation that's going on in the world right now, especially in the Western world where I think it's the most crazy. Yeah, what do you think is the job of a parent? What do you think is the job of a teacher? Like I said, for me personally, I don't think it is my job to discipline or raise your kids. My job is to teach mathematics. That is it. If your kid can't behave, personally, I think my favorite thing would be like send the kid home. That's what I think we should start doing, like everywhere in the world. Your kid doesn't behave, boom, there's a bus that sends them home, and it's like now it's your problem. Because like, of course that's not what they're gonna do, but like it is not my job to teach your kid manners. That is your job as a parent. I think that's like my number one issue with like in terms of the parent teacher relationship now. I think how lazy most parents have gotten and how it's just like, oh, just shove them into school so we don't have to deal with them for okay, they're in school. It's my time to breathe and my time to relax. It's like, no, that's not the point of school. Point of school is not for you to have time to drink your wine and to relax at home. It's like you should be doing the parenting. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you guys can tell that this is kind of a loaded topic for me that I have very mixed feelings on. So let me know how you felt about your teachers. Maybe if you have kids, how you feel about their teachers. What do you think is the role of a parent and a teacher? And oh yeah, and if you feel like it, please do consider donating for my friend Matt, who lost everything in the flood. That would be amazing. And hopefully you guys are doing well, and take care. Bye.